The massive colony transport shuddered violently, its titanium hull screaming against the relentless gravitational pull of an unknown moon. Inside the emergency compartment, 8-year-old Jae-won Park clutched her emergency tablet, her small fingers trembling, but surprisingly steady. Around her, emergency systems flickered like dying fireflies, casting intermittent red and blue shadows across the cramped rescue chamber. Something had gone terribly wrong during their routine colonization mission. The ship's automated systems were in complete chaos. Warning signals blared. Holographic displays flickered between technical schematics and catastrophic damage reports. Jae-won wasn't just any child. She was the daughter of 2 quantum engineers, and her understanding of spacecraft mechanics was far beyond her years. She watched carefully as the ship's primary navigation system collapsed. The massive vessel, carrying 300 colonists, was now nothing more than a massive metal coffin hurtling through an uncharted section of the Orion Quadrant. Her parents had always told her that staying calm was the first rule of survival, and right now, she embodied that principle. The initial impact had been sudden. A massive electromagnetic pulse, unlike anything recorded in standard galactic mapping, had struck their vessel. Within milliseconds, critical systems began failing. Backup generators struggled, quantum drives flickered, and the ship's artificial gravity began to destabilize. Jae-won activated her emergency communication band, her small voice cutting through the mechanical chaos. Automated system. Initiate emergency protocol Delta 79. Prepare emergency beacon and survival capsule activation. The ship's AI, a sophisticated quantum-based intelligence, responded with a calm yet urgent tone. Warning, structural. Integrity at 22%. Emergency protocols partially compromised. Survival probability low. Outside the ship's reinforced windows, an alien landscape began to take shape. A moon with bizarre crystalline formations and a toxic-looking atmosphere emerged. Metallic mountain ranges gleamed under 3 different-colored celestial bodies, creating an almost surreal landscape that seemed more like a painting than a real planetary surface. Suddenly, a massive shadow crossed their trajectory. A sleek, biomechanical spacecraft, clearly not human technology, adjusted its position. The Valerian scout ship, with its liquid metal exterior and pulsing energy signatures, began scanning the dying human transport. Inside the Valerian vessel, Commander Rico reviewed the data streams. Humanoid life forms, damaged transport, minimal survival chances. Their species' strict non-intervention protocols were clear. They would observe but not interfere. Jae-won felt the ship breaking apart. Emergency seals activated automatically, creating isolated survival zones. Her small hands moved with practiced precision, accessing emergency survival gear, a compact nano-medical kit, an advanced communication device, and a personal energy shield generator, gifts from her engineer parents that now seemed like more than just technological trinkets. The colony transport began its final descent, spinning uncontrollably. Jae-won strapped herself into the emergency survival pod, her breathing measured and controlled. She wasn't scared. She was calculating. The Valerian scanners picked up her bio readings. A human child, approximately 8 standard years, showing extraordinary neural activity during a potentially fatal scenario. Commander Rico's robotic consciousness processed the data. Survival probability, 0.03%. Maintain observation protocol, Rico commanded. Do not engage. As the survival pod detached from the disintegrating transport, Jae-won activated her emergency beacon. A micro-quantum transmission began broadcasting their location, hoping someone, anyone, would receive the signal. The alien moon's surface rushed closer. Crystalline formations and metallic terrain promised a harsh landing. But Jae-won Park was not just preparing to survive, she was preparing to overcome. The survival pod hit the surface with incredible force, kicking up clouds of metallic dust and strange crystalline particles. For a moment, everything went silent. Then a small light blinked. The emergency pod systems began their recovery sequence. Humanity's smallest representative had just begun her most significant journey. End of Part 1. Would you like me to proceed with expanding the next part of the story? The Valerian research vessel hummed with a cold, calculated precision. Medical Officer Hyun stood before the holographic display, his multiple sensory appendages trembling slightly as he analyzed the data stream from the crashed human transport. The scanners revealed something extraordinary: a human child, barely alive, with neural patterns that defied conventional understanding. Most Valerian officers would have followed protocol without hesitation: observation, non-interference, absolute detachment. But Hyun was different. Something in the child's bio-readings sparked an emotion he'd never experienced before. A strange, unfamiliar sensation that translated closest to what humans might call compassion. The ship's central processing unit continuously repeated the survival probability calculation, 0.03%. His number so close to zero that any rational being would consider intervention impossible. Yet Hyun's augmented neural network kept returning to one persistent thought. What if? His communication station blinked with a warning. Transmitting medical data outside approved channels was a Class 3 violation. Discovery would mean immediate neural recalibration, essentially a complete erasure of his current consciousness and personality matrix. Hyun's hand hovered over the transmission controls. The survival pod's location coordinates flickered. A remote moon in the outer rim, surrounded by electromagnetic interference that would make traditional rescue attempts nearly impossible. In the research chamber, advanced holographic displays showed the child's deteriorating condition. Microfractures, cellular damage, compromised respiratory systems. A human would have been pronounced dead multiple times over. But something kept her alive, a resilience that defied every known biological algorithm. Outside the ship's quantum-shielded windows, strange cosmic storms danced, electromagnetic pulses that could destroy most communication systems. But Hyun had modified his personal transmission array, creating a quantum-encrypted channel that could potentially punch through the interference. His fingers moved with practiced precision. One transmission, one chance. The data burst contained everything: medical scans, location coordinates, survival probability calculations, and a micro-encrypted personal note that would be invisible to standard scanning protocols. It was a risk beyond calculation, beyond reason. Suddenly, the ship's central alarm blared. Commander Rico's metallic consciousness filled the communication chamber. Medical Officer Hyun, explain the unauthorized data transmission. Hyun's multiple sensory appendages moved defensively. Routine system diagnostic, Commander. Nothing of significance, but they both knew it was a lie. The transmission had already been sent, a tiny beacon of hope hurled across the vast, uncaring darkness of space. Somewhere someone might receive it. Somewhere a rescue might be possible. The child's survival was now a quantum probability, both possible and impossible until observed. Thousands of light years away, at a deep space human monitoring station, a soft ping interrupted the routine. Galactic noise, a transmission encrypted complex barely detectable. Senior communications specialist Yoon Jin-soo leaned closer to the quantum decryption console. Something was different about this signal. His trained eyes began parsing the incoming data, line by encrypted line. A child, a location, a chance. The universe, it seemed, had just rolled its cosmic dice. End of Part 2. Would you like me to expand the next part of the story? The quantum-linked medical vessel Daegu Horizon trembled with barely contained energy, pushing the boundaries of known technological limits. Captain Daeon Kim stood at the quantum navigation console, her eyes reflecting the holographic star charts that mapped their impossible journey. We have a 0.004% chance of successful rescue, announced the ship's advanced AI system. Recommendation: abort mission. Daeon's laugh was sharp and focused. Those are the best odds we've heard all day. The rescue team was unlike any assembled before. 12 specialists, each selected not just for their technical expertise, but for an unbreakable commitment to human survival. They represented humanity's most advanced medical and recovery technologies, Outside the ship's quantum-shielded hull, space itself seemed to bend. Specialized quantum drive engines manipulated gravitational waves, creating micro-wormhole shortcuts through regions previously considered impassable. Standard navigation systems would have required decades to traverse this route. The Daegu Horizon was doing it in hours. Advanced nano-repair robots crawled across the ship's exterior, constantly adjusting molecular structures to withstand extreme cosmic radiation and gravitational stress. Each robot was programmed with a single directive: ensure mission success. Dr. Hwang Min-seok, the team's chief medical strategist, analyzed the encrypted transmission. "The child's survival parameters are interesting," he muttered, zooming into microscopic cellular scans. "Her genetic structure shows remarkable adaptive potential." The ship's interior hummed with a symphony of advanced technologies. Holographic displays flickered with real-time medical simulations. Quantum communication arrays processed millions of calculations per second, and specialized survival modules stood ready for immediate deployment. Suddenly, a massive electromagnetic storm erupted directly in their path. Cosmic energy waves that could shred conventional spacecraft like paper. Most navigation systems would immediately trigger emergency retreat protocols. Captain Daeun didn't even blink. "Quantum shield alignment, maximum intensity," she commanded. "Adaptive navigation, pattern Delta 9. The ship's AI responded instantly. Quantum shields generated a complex, multidimensional energy field, essentially creating a protective bubble that could manipulate incoming cosmic radiation. Where other vessels would be destroyed, the Daegu Horizon simply adjusted its quantum frequency and sailed through. 2 hours from target location, announced the navigation system. Dr. Hwang pulled up the child's medical profile. Jae-won Park, 8 years old, daughter of quantum engineers. Current survival probability, less than 1%. "We don't accept those numbers," Daeun whispered, more to herself than anyone else. The rescue team represented humanity's most profound characteristic, an unwillingness to accept defeat. They would traverse impossible distances, challenge fundamental laws of physics, risk everything for a single life. Specialized medical nanodrones were prepared for immediate deployment. These weren't just medical tools, but complex healing systems that could reconstruct cellular structures, repair genetic damage, and essentially rewrite biological limitations. As they approached the alien moon's toxic atmosphere, the ship's sensors went into overdrive. Crystalline mountain ranges that could slice through conventional hull materials, electromagnetic interference that could disable most technological systems, an environment designed to prevent survival. Initiating quantum landing sequence, the AI announced. The Daegu Horizon began its descent, defying every known principle of spacecraft navigation. It wasn't just a rescue mission. It was a statement about human potential. They would find the child. They would bring her home. Failure was not an option. End of part 3. Would you like me to expand the next part of the story? The survival pods. Emergency systems glowed with a soft blue light, creating an ethereal atmosphere around the critically injured Jae-won. Dr. Hwang Min-seok's hands moved with supernatural precision, quantum medical nanobots dancing across her broken body like living light. "Her cellular structure is extraordinary," he muttered. Holographic displays revealing something unprecedented. The medical bay of the Daegu Horizon transformed into a complex healing chamber. Specialized quantum-adaptive medical platforms surrounded Jae-won, each system working in perfect synchronization. Nano-reconstruction robots moved through her bloodstream, repairing damaged neural pathways and genetic structures with miraculous efficiency. Jae-won's body began to change, not just heal, but fundamentally transform. Her neural connections expanded, creating complex pathways that extended beyond standard human potential. Micro-adaptive genetic sequences rewrote themselves, generating enhanced cellular resilience. Where most humans would have multiple organ failures, her body was generating its own advanced repair mechanisms. The medical team watched in absolute amazement. Captain Daeun Kim observed the transformation, her eyes wide with understanding. This wasn't just medical recovery. This was something extraordinary, a quantum leap in human biological potential. Her brain is developing additional neural networks, Dr. Huang announced, his voice a mixture of scientific excitement and pure wonder. She's not just healing, she's evolving. Specialized quantum frequency scanners revealed incredible developments. J1's cellular structure was absorbing and adapting to the advanced medical technologies, creating a symbiotic relationship between human biology and quantum medical intervention. Her brain began generating unique electromagnetic frequencies. Advanced cognitive pathways formed, connecting regions typically isolated in standard human neurology. She was developing capabilities that pushed the boundaries of human potential. The ship's advanced AI began running complex simulations. Mathematical models suggested J1 was developing enhanced sensory perception, accelerated cognitive processing, and unprecedented cellular regeneration capabilities. Outside the medical bay, the alien moon's crystalline landscape remained. A silent witness to this extraordinary transformation, microadaptive genetic sequences rewrote traditional biological limitations. Where human bodies typically required weeks or months of recovery, J1's systems were reconstructing themselves in hours. Her body wasn't just healing, it was upgrading. Dr. Huang's hands moved across quantum medical interfaces, tracking every microscopic change. Her genetic structure is absorbing technological interventions, he muttered. It's like her DNA is learning, adapting, expanding. Specialized quantum frequency medical nanobots continued their intricate dance, rebuilding, enhancing, transforming. J1's closed eyes began showing rapid neural activity. Complex dream patterns emerged, not standard human neurological responses, but something far more advanced. Her consciousness was expanding, integrating the quantum medical technologies into her fundamental biological framework. The medical team worked in perfect synchronization, their advanced technologies pushing the boundaries of human medical intervention. Each moment revealed something extraordinary about human potential. Captain Daeun watched the transformation, understanding this was more than a medical recovery. This was a glimpse into humanity's extraordinary adaptability. "Welcome back," she whispered, as J1's eyes slowly opened. But these weren't the eyes of a typical 8-year-old child. These were the eyes of something extraordinary, a living testament to human potential, resilience, and the incredible capacity for adaptation. The universe had just witnessed something remarkable. Humanity had just redefined its own limitations. End of Part 4. Would you like me to expand the final part of the story? The Valerian High Council chamber pulsed with an eerie metallic ambience. Crystalline data streams floated around a circular platform where representatives from various galactic civilizations gathered. At the center stood J1 Park, no longer just a child, but a living embodiment of human potential. Her presence alone created a tangible tension. The quantum medical transformation had changed her, not just physically, but in ways that defied conventional understanding. Enhanced neural pathways glimmered subtly behind her eyes, a testament to humanity's extraordinary adaptability. Commander Rico, the primary Valerian representative, adjusted his biomechanical sensory arrays. "Explain your survival," he demanded, his voice a cold mechanical pulse. J1 smiled, a simple yet profoundly complex gesture that seemed to unsettle the entire chamber. "Survival isn't just about mathematical probabilities," she responded, her voice carrying a resonance that seemed to vibrate through the advanced communication systems. "It's about potential, about hope." The holographic displays around her began to shift, revealing complex data streams that demonstrated her extraordinary transformation. Medical scans, neural network expansions, cellular adaptations, each visualization told a story of remarkable human resilience. Quantum-linked communication systems translated her words across multiple galactic languages. Representatives from different species leaned forward, captivated. The Valerian protocol of non-interference suddenly seemed obsolete. Here was living proof that mathematical calculations could never truly predict the potential of life. Your algorithms suggested a 0.03% survival chance, J1 continued. But algorithms don't understand the human spirit. They can't calculate hope, determination, or the complex emotional intelligence that drives survival. Her neural-enhanced presentation began demonstrating how human adaptability worked. Complex holographic simulations showed cellular regeneration, cognitive expansion, and psychological resilience in ways that challenged fundamental galactic scientific understanding. The chamber grew silent. Specialized translation systems worked overtime, converting not just her words, but the subtle electromagnetic frequencies generated by her enhanced neural pathways. Each species present began understanding something profound about humanity. Commander Rico's biomechanical systems struggled to process the information. Traditional Valerian logic suggested immediate neutralization of an anomaly, but something in J1's presentation challenged those fundamental protocols. We don't just survive, she explained. We evolve, we transform. Mathematical limitations are merely temporary challenges waiting to be overcome. Quantum data streams demonstrated her point. Where other species saw obstacles, humans saw opportunities. Where calculations suggested impossibility, human innovation found solutions. The chamber's advanced communication systems began generating complex, emotional, analytical reports. J1 wasn't just presenting a case, she was redefining interspecies understanding. Representatives from various galactic civilizations watched in stunned silence. A child, transformed by technology, driven by an inexplicable human spirit, was challenging fundamental galactic philosophical understanding. Your non-interference protocols are a limitation, J1 stated. They represent fear disguised. As scientific methodology, humanity represents possibility, potential, continuous transformation. The holographic displays began showing human achievements, medical breakthroughs, technological innovations, survival against impossible odds. Each visualization told a story of remarkable human potential. Commander Rico's systems generated multiple response protocols: neutralization, containment, scientific study. But each option seemed inadequate against the living demonstration of human potential standing before them. J1's final presentation wasn't just a scientific argument, it was a philosophical revolution. We are not defined by our current state, she concluded. We are defined by our potential to change, to grow, to transform. The Valerian High Council chamber remained silent. Mathematical calculations, quantum data streams, and advanced sensory systems struggled to comprehend the profound statement made by this extraordinary human child. Humanity had just redefined its place in the galactic community, not through military, might not through technological superiority, but through an unbreakable spirit of hope and adaptation. End of Part 5. Would you like me to provide any additional details or modifications to the story?